Hello, everyone. Dr. Victoria Skirbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. Hi, how is everybody doing? So we're going to look at the astrology of the week ahead. That is the week from Sunday, May 16th until Saturday, May 22nd. The moon this week starts the week in Cancer, shifts into Leo on Monday, 8:44 a.m. on the east coast of the U.S. and is in Leo until Wednesday afternoon, where it moves into Virgo. It's in Virgo until Friday evening, when it shifts into Libra, and then on the 22nd is in Libra. And so the moon in Cancer is actually very comfortable in Cancer. Very emotional, very sensitive. We have to remember that Mars right now is in Cancer, so it's disposited by the moon. And so this progression of moons as we move through the week, the sign of the moon is going to indicate just how much energy and what type of energy you are going to be expressing. We do have the moon make a conjunction to Mars on Sunday. And so our feelings and our actions are in alignment with each other. And, so if your feelings are good, you're going to be acting out good things. And if your feelings are more challenged, you may find yourself acting that out as well. So the moon in Leo, of course, while it's in Leo Monday, Tuesday, and half of Wednesday is very self-expressive. We have some challenges between what is new and what is old. The Leo moon is pretty optimistic, but it can also be very fixed. And so there is a square to Uranus of the moon that happens on Tuesday the 18th. We might find ourselves at loggerheads with something, and then there has to be some sort of break in the action, some sort of activity, some sort of action. There could be some like a little mini explosion around feelings. So be aware of that on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we do get an opportunity with the moon to make an opposition to Jupiter. Jupiter just moved into Pisces. The moon at that time will be in Virgo, and oppositions are about awareness. So we have an opportunity to see just how far we need to go, or just how much we've done up to this point. And that is occurring on the same day, Wednesday, the 19th, when we have the first quarter square of the sun and the moon, the sun, of course, being in Taurus, the moon being in Leo. And that is a challenging first quarter square crisis in action with the sun and the moon in fixed signs. So we can see a real there can be emotional upheaval, or something happens that drives our emotions. Sorry about that, guys. Well, that was a real Venus, that was a real Taurus Leo moment. Somebody wanting to come and pay me. I like that. That's an action I like. All right. So on the 20th, the sun moves into Gemini. So the energy shifts from that sort of earthy, somewhat plotting, and sort of like putting your back into it kind of energy that is Taurus. And the sun moves into Gemini. And so it becomes more about communication. And at this time of the year, when the sun moves into Gemini, that's when the flowers are coming, and we see the bees and we see the birds, we see the butterflies, and they're singing, and there's a lot of activity. And it's also the activity of interaction and communicating. For those of you who follow me daily, you know it's spring because it's even more noisy when it comes to birds than it is when it's not spring. And so that is the energy. It's like there's all these birds singing their song, and that's true. We'll have people singing their song as well. So the moon is in Virgo on that day, and it is challenged between what we want to see change and what refuses to change. Become a little annoying. And then Friday evening, the moon moves into Libra. That's a lovely moon for a Friday evening, I think. Although it is kind of late here on the East Coast of the US, doesn't move into Libra until around 9:35 p.m. But for those of you who live west of here, the Libra moon will come in a little bit sooner. And it's a pleasant moon. Libra likes getting along. Libra likes having fun. Libra likes keeping things on an even keel. And we could use that, I think. And then on the 22nd, Libra, the moon is in Libra on Saturday, which is also nice to have a Libra moon on a Saturday, right? Maybe you could have a date night on Saturday. All right, so that's just the general energy of the moon. Let's take a look at some of the bigger things happening this week. Let me pull that up. I'm going to share my screen right now. Hopefully I'll share it to the right day. Because second time I've done this and I shared it on the wrong day. I started at the end. Can't do that. All right, let's start at the very beginning. A very good place to start. So we're starting with Monday. There are no major aspects except for the aspects that occur with the moon on Sunday. So Monday, the 17th of May, 2021. It's a 27-9 vibration for the day. That is the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands located in the crown chakra, on the tree of life in Kether. Kether is the crown. Kether is the root. It is the beginning. The beginning and the end are the same. So intention is very important on a 27-9 day. This day we have the sun make a trine to Pluto. Let me just pull that up here. All right, guys. Oh, hold on one second. Hold on one second, people. Now I'm trying to start. Okay, take 3. All right, so Monday, May 17th, 27-9 vibration, Ace of Wands, intention, intention, intention. It's all in the intention, folks. We have Sun trine Pluto. This is a waxing trine. It's a trine of creative self-expression. This goes back to that initial conjunction when the Sun and Pluto, the initial conjunction the Sun and Pluto made in, I think it was January. So this particular trine is at 27 degrees of Taurus for the Sun and 27 degrees of Capricorn for Pluto. What is being created is on a seed planted on the Sun-Pluto conjunction that occurred on January 14th. There it is, 2021. That was a 20/2 vibration day, which is the Judgment card in the tarot and also associated with the planet Pluto. So we had the Sun make a conjunction to Pluto on the day that vibrated to Pluto. So that's pretty big and pretty intense. It occurred at 25 degrees of Capricorn. That's right around those degrees that we had the Pluto-Jupiter conjunction. I think 2 of the Pluto-Jupiter either 1 or 2 of the 2 Pluto-Jupiter conjunctions were at that degree. It says an old, at 25 degrees of Capricorn. The Sun at 27 of Taurus, an old Indian woman selling the artifacts of her tribe to passers-by, peaceful adaptation to the collective needs. Trine, Pluto at 27, pilgrims climbing the steps leading to a mountain shrine. The keynote is the ascent of the individualized consciousness to the highest realizations reached by spiritual leaders of its culture. So the 2 symbols here are symbols, kind of spiritual symbols in their own way. One, of course, the first one, the old Indian woman, sharing her culture through her arts, right? And then the second one is this energy of having to reach or climb the mountains. The previous spiritual leaders that have climbed the mountain before you, et cetera, et cetera. And so there's a lovely trine energy between that. On Monday, the 17th, also the 27-9 vibration, we have Venus conjunct the North Node at 11 degrees of Gemini. The saving symbol for 11 degrees of Gemini is newly open lands offer a pioneer new opportunities for experience. The keynote here is the power and joy of new beginnings. So Venus in Gemini, conjuncting that North Node in Gemini, is asking us to make new connections, to make new friends, perhaps, to talk to people, to maybe talk to people you haven't talked to before. But it is about new experience, and it's about reaching out for that new experience. It says these newly open lands can refer to any yet unexperienced field of potential activity at any level, material, emotional, mental, or supramental. We are now dealing with the level of experience at which individuality, or at least the ego character, operates more definitely. And this is about rising to the occasion. And here we have Venus over here conjunct the North Node at 11 degrees of Gemini. 11 degrees is a pretty active degree. We had all of the Uranus, Sun, Uranus, Venus, Uranus, Mercury conjunctions that occurred at the end in last month, and the Sun, I think it was the Sun conjunct Uranus at 11 degrees of Taurus, April 30th, so the last day of the month of April. So that 11th degree is getting activated. This time it's getting activated through the first time it got activated with Uranus, it got activated through the fixed sign of Taurus. Now we have 11 degrees getting activated again. All of this time it is the mutable signs that are getting activated. So if you have 11 degrees of Gemini in your chart, or Sagittarius, or Pisces, or Virgo, that is getting activated for you. And this is a chart for the US, and so we can see it's happening in the 8th house of shared resources. So there may be more discussion about perhaps the infrastructure bill, or all the new bills that are coming up that they're trying to get passed through the Senate. The Congress has passed them, and now the Senate has to pass them. Wednesday, May 19th, 2021, a 2911 vibration. This is the 3 of Wands. It is a vibration of light. It is a vibration of sharing what you know, and actually putting it out there, and actually making money doing it. Like, it's not so much that you're doing something to make money, but that you're doing what you're here to do, and money flows into you. That's the energy of this vibration. On the 19th, we have the Sun and Moon making its first quarter square. This is the first quarter. Now the Sun is in Gemini, the Moon is in Virgo, correct, I think? Yes, and it's Christ in action. And it's a crisis in action on that which was planted at the new moon in Taurus. So this is the first opportunity, the first crisis point from that, whatever seeds that were planted at that new moon on the 11th of May. So we also have Venus trine Saturn. This is occurring at 14 degrees of Gemini for Venus, 14 degrees of Saturn of Aquarius for Saturn, sorry. Again, a trine of creative self-expression. A lot of the trines that we're experiencing right now at this time of the year are trines that have to do with creative expression and Leo and ego to a certain extent, but sort of putting our creations out there. The trine, saving symbol for 14 degrees of Gemini, bridging physical space and social distinctions. Two men communicate telepathically. This is really about how do we communicate with people who may not agree with us, or people who may have a prejudice against us, perhaps. We can do it on a higher plane. Just because people aren't aware that they have a higher self, and just because people aren't aware that that there are things that connect us all, it doesn't mean we still can't utilize the energy of that. That's how something like Ho'oponopono works, because you're working on a higher vibration frequency. The person doesn't even have to know that you're working with the energy, and the energy manifests itself, right? In forgiveness and in peace and in calmness and in ultimately in love. So the capacity, the keynote here is the capacity to transcend the limitations of bodily existence. And that's trine, a train entering a tunnel, Sabian symbol 14 degrees of Aquarius, the ability to shortcut the process of natural evolution by an exercise of will, mental skill, and physical self-discipline. So this is a really good day to put your intentions out there. Put your intentions out there for understanding, for getting along, for not forgetting your way. But we first need to sit down with each other. And sometimes you can't do that. Sometimes you can't do that because the other person isn't amenable to it. Sometimes you can't do that because you just, for whatever reason, you can't be in the same room with them. Or they're gonna piss you off as soon as they're with you, or something like that. So we can utilize the ethers very, very efficiently with this vibration. All right, so Thursday, May 20th, 2021 is a 30/3 vibration. This is actually a Jupiterian vibration when we're talking about the tree of life. It's found in Hesed, 30/3. It's the 4 of Wands in the tarot. On that day, the sun ingresses into Gemini. So we have the sun moving into Gemini on May 20th. The Sabian symbol for 1 degree of Gemini is a glass bottom boat, reveals undersea wonders, the revelation of unconscious energies and submerged psychic structures. So whenever a planet moves into the sign, in this case, the sun here in the 8th house, a lot of stuff happening in the 8th house, if you notice, the house of transformation, the house of death and rebirth. This is for Washington, D.C. So we have the sun in that 8th house going into Gemini. What I like to do is I like to see what the ruling planet of Gemini, which is Mercury, is doing, because that gives us another indication of perhaps what this sun in Gemini, another theme for the sun in Gemini, because every time the sun is into Gemini, it hits that 1st degree, and we're looking at this glass bottom boat. But what is the influence beyond that? And that's by looking at the Sabian symbol for Mercury, which is at 22 degrees of Gemini. And it says dancing couples in a harvest festival, the wholesome enjoyment of organic processes and emotional drives. So there's a social component. And here in the United States, more and more people are getting vaccinated for the COVID-19, and more people are out now and talking and interacting after a very, very long 2020, a very long and difficult 2020. And this, of course, if we look where Mercury is right now, we have in the United States anyway, we have Mercury in that 9th house. The 9th house is justice. It deals with the Supreme Court. It deals with foreign places. We could even have new relationships with foreign entities here. Friday, May 21st, 2021 is a 31/4 vibration. This is This is found in Gabor. It is associated with the planet Mars. We have the Sun square Jupiter. Now, this is a first quarter crisis in action square. This was, so we're taking an action on a seed that was planted when these two planets were conjoined back at 10 degrees of Aquarius. That happened on January 28th, 2021. And the Sabian symbol is a man who had for a time become the embodiment of a popular ideal, is made to realize that as a person, he is not this ideal. So this is somewhat of a fall from grace kind of energy, and we may actually see somebody who is famous or infamous, or famous to some and infamous for others, get some comeuppance today. So keep your eyes peeled for that. It says here, the need to deal with human beings as persons rather than as screens upon which one projects one's dream and ideal. And really, that is exactly what Trump has done. He is a projector that people will project their wants, desires, anger, hurt on. So this could be a fall from grace for the former president, or perhaps somebody in his circle, or perhaps not, maybe somebody else. We find a truth about somebody else. I know there's some issue around Bill Gates. I think it was somebody did a reading on him. Was it Marian or was it Lena Rodriguez? And she saw some challenges ahead for him. I think it might have been Lena. Oh no, it wasn't. It was Cash Peters. There was some problems or not. It kind of depended on what Gates did. So it could be that as well. So we'll see, I guess. All right, we also have, so we have the Sun square Jupiter. Now, this square is actually occurring at 1 degree of Gemini and 1 degree of Pisces, because Jupiter just moved into Pisces, right? And the Sun just moved into a Gemini. So we have the glass bottom boat again, the 1 degree of Gemini, squared by Jupiter at 1 degree of Pisces. In a crowded marketplace, farmers and middlemen display a great variety of products. The process of commingling and interchange, which at all levels demonstrates the health of a community. Key word here is commerce. So this is a crisis in action. It is in mutable signs. And so when we're dealing with mutable as opposed to fixed, is that mutable flows a little bit easier. Mutable is willing to change. Mutable is willing to mutate, is willing to consider, right? And so while first quarter squares can be kind of pointy in their energy, the fact that it's in a mutable sign, I think, is going to help to ease some of that energy with this. So, but it is a first quarter square, and it is about taking action on those seeds planted at 10 degrees of Aquarius. So we want to keep that in mind. And just to remind myself, oh, right, a man who for a time had become the embodiment of a popular ideal is made to realize that as a person, he is not that ideal. All right, so now normally you'd say, oh, well, that could happen. And then, but would you know if the person was going through that, they might keep it to themselves. Of course, if we're talking about the ex-president, he doesn't keep anything to himself. So, all right, so let's see. So that's it. So that's it for the week. Now, next thing I want to do is we're going to do a card reading for this. So let me pick cards to do the reading with. I think I'm going to pick the Illuminati deck, this deck right here. and see what it has to say. So this is the week from the 16th to the 22nd. What do we need to be aware of? What are we going to see? What are some of the themes that we are going to be dealing with? Let's take a look at that. Okay, almost ready. All right. Oh, shoot. Excuse me. I always do that, right? Every time they fly around. Oh, goodness gracious. They sort of flew, and then, excuse me. Oh, there we go. And then they got stuck to the ground. Oh, skibibbles. All right. I got a new hummingbird feeder today. I haven't seen. They don't know it's there yet. When they do, I'm so excited. All right. I'll show it to you tomorrow when we do a video. I'm actually doing this a week ahead pretty early in the week, which is unusual. Usually I'm late. So I'm happy to say I'm ahead of the game today. Although it has been a struggle to get this done because I keep getting interrupted. It's okay. Life, right? That's how it works. All right, we have the Princess of Wands here. The Princess of Wands. This is the Page of Wands in other decks. And this is about messages. We have messages coming. Look at her gown. It's just like blowing in the wind, blowing in the wind. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. So there are messages. We're going to hear something. Information is going to come to us. Let's see what's challenging that. It's going to create a lot of havoc. A lot of havoc. This is actually the 31-4 vibration, the 5 of Wands. Okay. So the information that's coming out is going to cause a ruckus. Let's see what's at the root of this. 5 of Pentacles. This could be somebody's financial situation, or we could hear something about money. All right, let's see what's in the past. This is like us and COVID, right? There we go. Being tied up, being restricted, having to utilize our intuition to make sense of things. So that's the past. We have the Prince of Pentacles, Prince of Pentacles. So what's interesting about the Prince of Pentacles is that is Rudy Giuliani's shadow, I believe. That's his shadow vibration. So we might hear something about Rudy this week. Or that could sometimes it's some readers call it the mercenary. Or there can be some issue around money that we thought was going to one thing. Like, as an example, you put money away in your 401k, and then the bottom drops out of that whole process, and then you don't have any money. So all that money that you put away all those years disappears. Something. I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen, but that's the kind of energy. It's like you've done it, and then all of a sudden you're like, what? And that would be this. That would be like you're not as your situation is very different than you thought it might be, right? But this could be Rudy. He could flip this week, right? He could flip. We have the 2 of Pentacles, so more. This is trying to keep your balance through emotional upheaval. So it looks like there's going to be some money issues this week. This is how it's seen from the outside. Choices might have something to do with the fact that the situation you find yourself in has to do with the choices that you made. We have the Queen of Cups here in the immediate, in the home and domestic situation. So that's actually good, having the Queen of Cups there, because I think it mitigates some of the stress that comes around money stuff. We will be taken care of. Like, it's not what it seems. It doesn't look as good as it should, but still we will be taken care of. The moon, hopes and fears, the moon ill disposed. The moon is lunacy. The moon is just, emotional ups and downs. The fact that it's reversed might mitigate some of that, but still there's going to be some emotional upheaval. And then we have the outcome is the alchemist. The outcome is the alchemist. And this really tells us, no matter what's going on, it is what our focused intention is that's important, because we create our own reality. We co-create with the universe. And sometimes you kind of have to be at a certain level of feeling secure enough with that, or brave enough to feel secure with that when you're not at that, that you're maybe not all that financially stable. You still have to focus on the vision of what it is you want to bring into the world. And that's really, really important. And underneath it all is the Tower. So there is some, it's funny because we do have an eclipse coming up next week, and that week is bonkers, but the bonkers could start early. So, but don't fret, guys. Remember, you have the power. Focus on what it is you want to bring into your life, and then take the steps necessary. All right, guys, much love. Take care. As always, it's a pleasure to do this for you, and I will see you again next week. Ciao.